So my name's Stephen Warsh. When this all started, I was doing my master's at the Concordia University, and I was helping out in the labs where we teach athletic therapists first aid and CPR. And through my research, I kind of discovered how much simulation that we can do with virtual reality that you just can't really replicate in real life. We can't have someone have a heart attack in real life, or at least we try not to. So really, that's where this idea started, and the Zoe program has been fantastic for me to really experiment and start learning a little bit more about software development. And then when I got access to the Logitech MX Pen, it really opened up some of the doors to what we could do with it. Sadly, I think I bit off more than I could chew in this short amount of time. Where I rather than show a polished finished product, I tried to show as much as I could. So you'll see some of it isn't complete, and I'm okay with that. So I've still got more work I'd like to do. But the really great thing about the MX Pen was it allows you really to feel things more than the controller. So we're replacing tools or really being more with the haptics and actually being able to do things in the application. I tried to make it more of a storytelling. So I really wanted it to be something that you experience. So you load up right into the Miami Heat Stadium. You're playing basketball, whether you're good or not. So we're going to pick it up with the MX Pen, actually, because you get to feel a little bit more in the controller. You shoot and, oh, too strong, shot it a bit too far. We got a little bit of barrier set up so it doesn't go too far. But I'm not so good at basketball, so maybe I just go up for a dunk. And I've really been exerting myself, and all of a sudden, you hear a little cheer, and all of a sudden your heartbeat starts pounding and everything starts to get a little bit faint and you start to see red, and well, you just experienced what it's like to have a heart attack. So if you look here, it's a bit of an unpolished scene, but I had to load these so it was easy to showcase, but these would not be in the scene. These are the different stages that you go through to learn how you would save this person's life. And so they wouldn't actually be there. This would just be the progress. And this is the final scene that this would all happen live as an expert scene if it was just a final exam in the class or if it was a certification course. So we load up the wound closure scene. So when we fell, we hit the pole, and unfortunately our arm and our finger is bleeding. So we're going to first learn how to stop the bleed. So we use what's known as steri strips. So with the MX Pen, I tried to make it into tweezers, but unfortunately I struggled mightily with it. But that would be the goal. It would be a tweezer where when you press, it squeezes, and when you let go, it releases. So I got pretty close, but unfortunately it wasn't polished enough that I liked it. So I preferred to just stick with this pen itself. So we stopped the bleeding with the strips, and now we're going to put a little bandage on and make sure that the bleeding is controlled. And we move on to the thumb, which is a smaller one. And this scene is fully finished, so it will load the next one naturally, which all the scenes will.
Congratulations,
so on,
you learned how to close out the wound. Now move on to the CPR section.
So all these would load as they would, but so we're going to switch back to the controller now because for the hand movements, the controllers work a little bit better. But so this scene is basically going to teach someone the pressure. So when you push on the area where they should actually press, and you'd have the progress bar when it would be synced with it. It just didn't bother while I was still building the scene to actually sync with how many times they're doing the CPR. And when you finish one set, two sets, it would then load the next scene, which I'm going to manually load because it's not finished. So this is an AED scene. So it's an defibrillator scene. So what you see in the background there is an actual 3D render that I took with my phone. So that's an actual AED that we use as the trainer. It doesn't look very pretty, but it is an actual one. And then on the table there is a gigantic model of it where we can actually interact with it. So the first one in the final scene would be you place the pads. This is just a training module to teach people. You institute CPR, and then it analyzes for shock. So you raise your hand, and there's the button for pressing for shock in the training. And this is the remote for the teacher. So there's a multiplayer function that can be built into this where a teacher can actually have the remote and offer different things in the training module. And last but not least, we have the BVM scene. So BVM stands for bag valve mask. So this is a 3D model I created myself. So you can interact with it. And so when you do, we teach people where to put it, how to use it. And when you squeeze it, it would administer oxygen and could basically be something that you train somebody how to utilize in conjunction with the oxygen tank that you see right here that we hook up and basically have these all interact with each other. And one of the key things I forgot to mention is in therapy and first aid, we often write things. We take a pen out and we start writing. So the Logitech pen is very great because in the 3D space, we don't usually have that ability to write. So unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to institute it into the scene, but that's one of the really big things I see with the pen as well. So this is me talking about basically what this final exam would look like. Each of these things would be integrated into the scene. Sorry for all the head movements. But it'd be integrated into the scene where that person, you'd be saving the life and you'd be doing all the things that we had just taught you throughout the scene. If you're an expert and you want to go right to that final scene, you can. But yeah, Hope that is good.